I got a question for you. You can only pick one. Would you rather have an 850 credit score, $4,000 a week for life, or $2 million in cash right now? Well, that's the topic for today's show. All right. Welcome to the Finance Rebel Show today. My name is Kamari Ellis. This show is all about making wealth black again. All right. And so today I want to talk about a couple of things. Wanted to talk about that interesting question. It's a bit of a riddle for a lot of people, but also wanted to talk a little bit about the debt ceiling and some of the debt ceiling negotiations. There's a lot going on. A lot of people could be impacted by the debt ceiling. And so I wanted to just talk about it for a quick moment. But again, I'm Kamari Ellis. I'm a tax accountant, former financial advisor, former institutional money manager. And what I love to do is talk about all things money, especially black wealth for the black community. All right. So what would y'all choose before we get going? Put it in the chat. Would you choose an 850 credit score? Would you choose 4,000 a week for life? Or would you go with 2 million in cash right now? Put that in the chat. Let me see what you got. All right. So as we get going, I wanted to, again, like I said, talk about the debt ceiling. So let's jump into that real quick.
President Joe Biden and Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy have reached an agreement to raise the debt ceiling.
We still have a lot of work to do, but I believe this is an agreement in principle that's worthy of the American people.
The agreement still needs to be approved by Congress before June 5th, when the government could run short of money to pay its debts and fund government programs. David Harrison covers the U.S. economy and the Federal Reserve for the Journal. He explains what's in the deal and whether Democrats or Republicans, if anyone, came out ahead.
The two big parts of this deal, first of all, obviously, is that it raises the debt ceiling for a couple of years, basically.
Now, can y'all guess who do y'all think came out ahead?
The Republicans really got an agreement to curb spending for next year and to cap it for the subsequent year.
This deal is good news, I believe you'll see, for the American people. The agreement prevents the worst possible crisis, a default for the first time in our nation's history.
There are a lot of other smaller.
Now, it amazes me. Let me back up, right? What is a debt ceiling? The debt ceiling is basically like the United States credit card bill, and it has a limit on it. Now, the United States is already committed to funding certain things, paying for certain things, Social Security, Medicare, military, and government workers, a lot of other things. And so what happens is sometimes the government runs out of cash. And what do? They'll float their debt or their credit card, i.e. their credit card, in order to make their payments so they don't miss any payments. That's one thing that kind of keeps the entire globe intact financially, is because everybody kind of runs off of the faith of the United States government. Our bonds, our banking system, our legal system. If it all goes awry, nobody knows what's going to happen, because the United States has never defaulted before. So that's why it's something people want to avoid at all costs. But let's get back into it.
Things. There's new requirements that people on food stamps either are employed or are enrolled in some kind of program, and some provisions to streamline or make it easier to get energy projects approved.
President Biden has delivered a result that avoids a catastrophic default, that prevents us from our economy crashing.
Democrats got spending cuts that were not nearly as deep as the Republicans had initially put forward. Now comes the next phase, which is Speaker McCarthy has to sell this deal to his members, to the House Republicans.
We did a conference call with our conference, and over 95% were overwhelmingly excited about what they see.
A number of the more conservative members of the House group,
I guess he wasn't part of that 95%.
caucus, have come out in opposition to it, calling it a disaster, some calling it appalling, basically saying that McCarthy gave up too much to Democrats to raise the debt ceiling. Likewise, on the Democrats.
Now, if y'all been paying attention to politics, y'all got to remember Speaker McCarthy just got into place, right? He had to do all kinds of maneuvering and all kinds of shenanigans and make all kinds of deals in order to get this position. And one of those deals was they were going to become more hawkish on government spending. And what's interesting is, and I'll just say this and I'll leave the rest for later, is that they're only hawkish or like really stringent on government spending for everything else. Never military, though. Never military. But if it's Social Security, it's Medicare, even veterans, a lot of times they're willing to slash and dash what they have going on with them. And I find it crazy. But let's keep going.
Democratic side, some of the sort of more progressive Democrats are very concerned about things like the work requirements for aid programs, some of the spending cuts.
Terrible policy, absolutely terrible policy. Does not reduce spending. Actually, by some estimates, creates a burden on administrative spending that is actually worse for the overall cost of a program like that.
This bill is going to have a rough ride on Capitol Hill. We've already heard from some folks on the right and on the left who oppose it. And so now the question is whether there'll be enough in the middle to carry it through.
We know at any time when you sit and negotiate within two parties that you got to work with both sides of the aisle. So it's not 100% what everybody wants, but when you look, the country is going to be stronger.
We have a June 5th deadline to raise the debt ceiling, according to the Treasury Department. If Congress does not raise the debt ceiling by then, the government could quite literally run out of money to pay its bills.
I strongly urge both chambers to pass that agreement. Let's keep moving forward on meeting our obligations and building the strongest economy in the history of the world.
Now, what they didn't mention in that is some of the highlights, right? Some of the highlights are defense spending is going to go up by 3%. And they are proposing to cut that $87 billion funding package to the IRS. Now, I'm sad about that. Again, y'all know I'm a tax accountant. I've spent hours and hours and hours on the phone with the IRS. I have a lot of clients hollering at me thinking that I just delayed some of their stuff going through just because I couldn't get through to the IRS. I was having not the same level of frustration as the general public, but almost the same level of frustration because I was on hold for a long, long time. I don't think Republicans really believe that the American people are being hampered by a non-effective tax administration agency, which the IRS is, but they don't care. They don't care at all. So it gets a little, what's the word I'm looking for here? Insane with some of these cuts. But again, they'll fund they'll fund military, but they won't fund some of the essential agencies within government, which always makes you wonder, who are they really working for? But I think many of us already know who they're working for. But again, that's, something that I find utterly interesting. Again, one of the other highlights is that SNAP funding, welfare funding. They want folks to be able to work. So they want people to go to work. But again, I always find it interesting that they'll attack the poor, but they always want to shield the rich. And there's a reason for that. I get it. Those are the ones who pay for the lobbying. Those are the ones who pay for their campaign bills, their campaign finance. Those are the ones with the slush funds. Nobody gives a damn about poor people. So I get it. So that's a quick update about the debt ceiling. Again, government is due to run out of money by June 5th if they don't get it together. But what do y'all think about this? What do y'all think about the debt ceiling? Let me know what your thoughts are in the chat there. But as I promised, we're going to talk about this. 850 credit score, $4K a week for life, $2 million on the spot. Again, what do y'all think is the best way to go about this? Go ahead and throw your comments, questions, and thought in the chat. And y'all know it's Wealthy Wednesday, so I am also answering your questions once I get done going through this whole little riddle we got to figure out here. But real quick, before we jump into it, let's just speak to everybody here. What's up, Go CP&G? Welcome. Still Rocks is in the building. welcome. All right, needs to say about tax sister. Great question. Can't wait to see you. All right, welcome. Stephanie Jones is in the building. Welcome and good evening to you, man. All right, what else we got here? Eunice is in the building. What's up, Eunice? That's my sis right there. Good evening. I hope all is well. Yes, all is well. And I hope all is well with you and yours also. All right. And Back Lady is here. Good evening. Welcome. All right. As always, remember to like, comment, and share. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel over on YouTube. It is the Finance Rebel. That is my tag name on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, just about everywhere. You can find me. I'm around. All right, so let's get to this. 850 credit score. $4K a week for the rest of your life. And $2 million. Now, first of all, this question has been floating around the internet forever. And I'm always intrigued by it. It always gets traction. People are always intrigued by this question. I don't know why, but it just is. So I saw something and I thought it was interesting. So I wanted to share it with you all. So let's go through this real quick.
I have an 850 credit score, 4K a week for the rest of your life, or $2 million cash right now?
I'm gonna say the 850 credit score only because I know I can go out and get $1 million in funding and flip that to 10 million. You dig? Yo, do you dig or not? Let's get it.
Get 1 million in funding, credit score, and get 10 million, and then turn it into 10 million. What do y'all think? Come on now. Y'all don't be shy. What do y'all think? All right, there's another one. I got more. By the way, I love this young lady's page. She's on Instagram and TikTok. I'm getting old, y'all. So she's on Instagram and TikTok. So she is always interviewing people at various events, a lot of Black influencers, and she does a wonderful job. So let's look at this one here.
I'd rather have the 850 credit score, $2 million cash right now, or 4K a week for the rest of your life.
850 credit score, that's easy.
Why?
Because you can easily get the money off the credit. You can literally go and apply for any and every credit card known to man, and they would give you over $2 million within a day.
So any credit card known to man, you can get over $2 million.
Easy, and you do all the inquiries at one time, and that way it only counts as one inquiry for each different credit bureau.
Word, that's valid. Let's go, man.
One credit card. What did he say? I forget how much he said. Said a lot, though. So what do y'all think so far? What do y'all think? 850 credit score, 4K a week for life, $2 million in cash right now on the spot. What do you think? All right. Let's see. I think this.
I'd have an 850 credit score, make 4K a week for the rest of your life, or $2 million cash right now.
Give me the $2 million right now.
What you gonna do with it?
Well, it's real cheap to get your credit fixed.
Okay.
And then I can invest my money in more places with $2 million to make more than $4,000 a week.
Okay. Simple, man.
You got to know the plays to run them. You know what I'm saying? So go run that play.
Let's get it.
All right, so we had two people for the 850 credit score. One person that said the $2 million. Now, here's a little trick. Two of the answers are correct because it depends on your situation. It depends on how you view money. It depends on your risk tolerance. Now, you never hear anybody talk about risk tolerance, right? But risk tolerance is absolutely a factor. All right, Don Johnson is in the building. What's up, Don? By the way, Don, last week was awesome, brother. I need you on the show more, man. Get them thoughts out there in the world. All right, so we got one, all right. Mahat, I hope I'm saying your name right. Mahat, 4K a week. 4K a week. All right. Still rocks. This might not be the most thought out answer, but give me the money. Which money? The 4K a week or the 2 million? Which one we talking about? I know you can flip the score to more, but let me get the 2. All right, it was 2 million. I'm sorry. It's the easier option. Off the grid I go. All right. Una says that's a hard toss up. $2 million or 850 credit score. $2 million, you can buy a property, land, stocks, bonds, business. 850 credit score, you can leverage. True. Yes. What's up, Alex? Same to you as well. Hold up, I just saw Don Johnson's comment. Please hit the like button. We need the support. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Come on, man. They not fools. They just sharing their opinion. Remember, when you watch the Finance Rebel show, this is just for entertainment and educational purposes only.
It's only entertainment.
All right, don't forget that, y'all. All right, Una says I will pick the 2 million due to the fact that you don't know if you're going to die and can get 4,000 or even use the 850 credit score. Okay. All right, I see some logic in that. Jigga 1017. Welcome to the Finance Rebel Show. Today's episode, as always, our Wednesday episode is Wealthy Wednesdays. Remember, if anybody has any money questions, put a question in the comment, put a Q in front of it, and I will get to it at the end of everything. All right, so Jigga 1017 credit is based on income and spend. So you can have 850 and only get 5K to spend. Barring sudden death, 2 million can be flipped. 4K a week for the financially weak and make out best after year 10. That's a thought out question. So I'm going to give. So there's been some thought out questions here. Thought out statements, rather, right? So let's go through this because I don't think anybody really thinks about this. Credit, 850 credit score, best credit score anybody can have, allegedly, right? I've saw some people out there say it can be more. But you know, if you can get an 850 credit score and not really have any income, right? So what happens when you have an 850 credit score, but you don't have any income? It happens. It doesn't happen that often, but there are times when it happens when people lose their job, lose their business, retire, like things happen, right? So what happens? You got 850 credit score, no income or low income. Might not be able to utilize that 850 for all it's worth. Because every time somebody says 850, it's like an automatic assumption that they're going to get funding. These banks are not in the business of just giving out money freely. Now, banks will give money. Lending agencies will give money. What do? They're in the business of making more money. And one of the things that many of these folks floating around the internet love to say is just report something on the report so the bank can approve it. And what is that, ladies and gentlemen? When they do that, when you fill out a report with wrong information, misleading information, fraudulent information, that's called fraud. So if we go with that, right, because that's the underlying part that nobody's really talking about. Again, 850 credit score with no income means really nothing, at least not in the long run. You might be able to get around it for a little bit. Let's say if you lost a job, something like that, you might be able to get around for a little while, but in the long run, it does nothing for you. So to me, that's not even on the table, but everybody loves to talk about it, right? That leaves 4K a week for life and $2 million. Now, I want to go through this. Now, there's a way to solve for this in a formulaic sense if you understand the variables, right? So it is a little bit of algebra. So for all of y'all who be out here saying, I don't know why they teach algebra in high school, I'm never going to use it. Well, if you ever want to do any high functioning money problems, you should know a little bit of algebra, all right? So the one formula I want to talk about is NPV, or net present value. And that is the way you can kind of solve for a money, to make a money decision, right? So here's the question, right? I'm going to give it to you up front. Is it better to take $2 million now? Remember, a dollar today is a dollar today is better than a dollar tomorrow. That's TMV, that's time value of money, all right? All these financial things go together. But is it better to get $2 million today, or is it better to get $4,000 a week? Now, how much is $4,000 a week a year? Can somebody put that in the chat for me? $4,000 a week. How much is that? Anybody know? So I'm going to pull up a handy dandy. Let me do this. Before I go too far, before I get too ahead of myself. I want everybody to understand what NPV, what net present value is. So I'm going to share this on the screen, and then we're going to get back. We're going to get back to doing these calculations. Then we're going to come back, and we're going to look at those videos again, and we're going to see what's really real, what's really hitting for. All right, so I want to share this. Do me a favor, share this out with anybody that wants to learn how to make money-making decisions. Not based off some social media guru, some quack, but this is real. This is actually Finance 101. So when I went to Temple University and I took Finance 101, NPV was one of the first things I learned. And it'll help you make better decisions on making money decisions, right? Again, there's a reason why lottery people that win the lottery, why they go broke. But here's NPV. Now, here's also another great source for everybody to use, right? Investopedia. There's a lot of good sources out here. Y'all ain't got to rely on these gurus. I'm just saying, a better educated community is a more powerful community. All right, so net present value, what it means and steps to calculate it. I'm going to skip the calculations part of it because at this point it doesn't matter. I have my good old handy dandy financial calculator here, but I'm just going to go through it, right? What do you need to know about differences over time? What is NPV? Net present value is the difference between the present value of cash inflows, and present value of cash outflows over a period of time. NPV is used in capital budgeting and investment planning to analyze the profitability of a projected investment or project. NPV is the result of calculations that find the current value of future streams of payments. And we're going to do this. We're going to do this in a second. Give me one. Just, oops, didn't mean to do that. Oops, didn't mean to do that either. There we go. All right. So NPV is the result of calculations that find the current value of the future stream of payments using the proper discount rate. Kudos to anybody that knows discount rate. Tell me what the discount rate is now. Put that in the chat. In general, projects with a positive NPV are worth undertaking, while those with a negative NPV are not. All right? Keep that in mind. Key takeaways. Net present value is used to calculate the current value of a future stream of payments. That 4K a week is a future stream of payments. All right? To calculate NPV, you need to estimate the timing and amount of future cash flows and pick a discount rate equal to the minimum acceptable rate of return. Now that's a little cheat for y'all. The minimum acceptable rate of return is usually tied to a governmental bond. Now I'll tell you why in a minute. The discount rate may reflect your cost of capital or the returns available on alternative investments of comparable risk. If the NPV of a project or investment is positive, it means its rate of return will be above the discount rate, will be above the discount rate. Now, again, when you're solving for this, when you're looking for this, one of the ways we can use NPV is to say, hey, this has a higher net present value than this other thing, right? So today we're going to use it to say, does the NPV of $4,000 a week have a higher NPV of $2 million? And at what point, right? So there's a couple of factors you got to think about when you're talking about money. And this is like the age-old question. When you hit Powerball, is it better to take the lump sum or is it better to take the annuity? Well, there's a lot of factors that come involved. And remember,
It's only entertainment.
this is only for entertainment. All right, so there's a lot of factors that come in, right? How long do you think you're going to live? Shout out to Eunice because she brought that up earlier, right? How good are you an investor? Now, if we're being honest with ourselves, honest, like brutally honest, most of us aren't that good. But I know a lot of us like to kind of have delusions of grandeur. But let's just imagine all of a sudden, all your life, you haven't been that good at investments. And all of a sudden you want to get this $2 million, this massive windfall. And then now you're Warren Buffett. Let's just go with that for right now. The other thing is, how good are you with managing your debts? Lastly, the other question is, how disciplined are you? Because if somebody gets $2 million, they never had it before, what are they going to do? We already see examples of this, right? I ain't got to tell y'all. You can look at most celebrities that land major contracts, whether it be basketball, whether it be football, whether it be soccer, baseball. Well, typically baseball and soccer aren't that bad. Just football and basketball, right? Musicians, how many stories of musicians do we need to look at? I'm sure everybody just watched that whole Johnny Depp divorce court scenario. How much money does he blow? A lot. How much money does your average rapper blow? A lot. What's the stat? Most football players, most basketball players that they retire usually wind up bankrupt when? Can anybody guess the time? Within 3 years. I gave it away. All right, so those are some of the factors. But again, we want to do the math so the math can math. A lot of times folks be out here, they math ain't mathing, y'all. They math ain't mathing. If you're going to be about business, if you're going to be about investments, if you're going to be about wealth, your math needs the math. All right, so I'm going to pull up an NPV calculator, right? When I was old and gray, like when Methuselah was around, y'all probably don't even know who Methuselah is. But we had to calculate NPV, one by hand and two with a calculator. Now, it's on the internet. It's on the internet. All right, I see y'all getting busy in the chat. Okay. Do me a favor, y'all, share this out. Share this out. The algorithms are not for me, y'all. They're not for me. So I'm going to share this on the screen. So remember, NPV is a measure of outflows and inflows, cash flows, right? I'm putting this up on the screen now. And so I encourage you all to just Google NPV calculator and y'all can plug in some of these on your own as well. So normally when you do NPV calculations, you need an initial investment. You need to figure out what the discount rate was. Anybody able to figure out what the discount rate is? Anybody able to figure out what the discount rate is? I'm looking through the chat. Y'all getting busy. Y'all getting busy. All right, nobody came through for it. All right. So I'm going to tell you, usually the discount rate is the 10-year bond, the 10-year treasury bond. All right, so we're going to pull that up. It's just the reason people use the 10-year treasury, again, going back to the debt ceiling, right? The U.S. government usually never defaults. I think they did something wacky in the 30s, but haven't done anything since. It's very very reliable, and basically the whole world runs off of the financial system, the US dollar. So let's look at this real quick. So according to CNBC, they're trying to give me an ad. I don't want an ad. I don't want no stinking ad. You know what? Forget them. I'll go to Bloomberg. I pay Bloomberg, so I have a subscription there. I should have went there in the first place. So I'm looking for 10-year. 10-year treasury, we just saw those like 3.6%. So matter of fact, I don't even need this right now. So the discount rate, we're just going to use the 10-year treasury. That's the risk-free rate that anybody can get. They can put money, they can put $1 in, and it's going to return back $1 plus later on when the investment's done. I think it was 3.61. All right. Going here, going back to the calculator. Never mind the ad. Now, we're going to do something a little bit different. I am going to wipe out the initial investment. And then we're going to go and we're going to put $208,000. And we have 5 years here. And the goal is, when will $208,000 be equal to or more than $2 million? Like I said, there's only really 2 answers to that question. A lot of them rely on life expectancy. Right? So we have 5 years. The net present value of $208,000 over 5 years, no initial investment, with a 3.61% discount rate, is $936,000. All right. Now we're going to add some years onto this. Now, if you think you're going to die in the next 5 years, 2 million probably will be better. Anybody agree? Anybody disagree? Tell me in the chat. So let's copy this. Oops. Trying to go fast. So is it just going to double? $1.7 million. $1.7 million over 10 years. All right. Now, when do y'all think it'll break even? When do you think it'll be more valuable in today's dollars? Because that's what this is. This is saying 10 years worth of cash flow, 10 years worth of $208,000. In today's dollars is worth $1.7 million. So when do you think it'll be more? Less? Let's run it out to 15. 12, 14, 15. There we go. Oops. I don't know what that was. All right, we're going to run out $208,000 to year 15. So this is 15 years of collecting $208,000 per year. Guaranteed. Calculating, running $2.3 million. So here's the dilemma. Not a dilemma, but let's call it a dilemma just for argument's sake. So in year 15, we know, it's probably more like year 14, but year 15, that $2 million, or excuse me, that $4,000 per week in today's dollars is worth $2.3 million. So is it still worth it to take $2 million up front, or do you wait 15 years? Are you going to live longer than 15 years? Now, number one, are you going to live longer than 15 years? Are you going to be disciplined? Are you disciplined? right? And I see that there's some commentary in the chat that I think is really interesting, right? So 15 years, will you still be alive? Do you have discipline to not spend all the money up? No, it's crackheads are still around. People still trick their money away. Are you disciplined enough not to do that? Number 3, do you have the investment acumen to make that money double, make that money triple, make that money grow by 5%, 10%? Can you make the money grow? Yes or no? Right? These are all the factors you have to think about when you're making money decisions. Honestly, if more people went through this calculation and this mental thought process when they got lottery tickets or when they win lottery tickets, more of them would have money. If more people went through this financial mental calculations when they got major contracts from a rap deal, rock deal, R&B deal, a lot of them wouldn't go broke. If more of our athletes went through these calculations like this, a lot of them would still have paper. But they don't. It's too much work. It's not easy. Takes too much time. Ain't nobody got time for that. I watch people go run through money all the time. It's like, damn, listen, we're all human. We're all going to splurge and do something crazy. But at some point, you got to be like, am I making this money grow or am I just wasting an opportunity? I don't know if a lot of people can do that, but let's just keep going with it. Let's just keep going with it. So going back to the calculator, right? Going back to the calculator. Let's take off. But matter of fact, let's add more. What happens when we get to year 20? Let's get to year 20. What that $4,000 looking like? That $4,000 a week is now worth 2.926971. 2,926,009. Excuse me, $2,926,971. That's what it's worth in today's dollars. So it's almost 33% more than having $2 million right now cash. Is it worth it? Waiting for it, does it make up for it? Remember, your average Black person living in America only makes $35,000 a year. So at $208,000 a year, they hit the jackpot. All right, so let's simmer on that for a minute, and let's talk to the peoples. Let's see what y'all saying. Now, let me know if I missed something. Let me know if we didn't get there. Let me know. Let me know. All right, we hit that already. All right, we hit Eunice's. We hit Don. Yes, hit the like button, y'all. Shout out for that. All right, I got Eunice. All right, yep. Jigga 1017. I love that comment too. All right, Maddox. If I could put the 4K week in a trust for my family, yes. If not, $2 million, invest in trust. All right. I mean, that's not the equation, though. That's not what's given. I mean, well, technically, you can do whatever you want with the 4K, right? It's yours to pick. It's yours to choose. Same thing for the $2 million. You can put it in a trust. You can invest it. Most people just want to do consumeristic crack with it. So, yeah. All right, Lawrence was here. Shout out to Lawrence. Lawrence was here last week. Phenomenal job. We had a phenomenal conversation. I would encourage everybody to go back and watch that conversation when you get a chance. The credit score is not that special. I just said that. I did not pay Lawrence to say that. My mom had that and she never made more than 30K a month. I just kind of talked about that. So not to pick on Lawrence's mom, but to pick on Lawrence's mom, she got an 850 credit score, made 30K a year for most of her life. She couldn't take that money with her income and go get $1 million mansion or $1 million credit card or $1 million line of credit. Just wouldn't happen. Yes, Stephanie, bank fraud. That's what they're really alluding to, because they're all trying to run the play. You know, they're all trying to be snazzy. They're all trying to, like I say, be slick. Oh, I didn't even see that one. She couldn't buy a home. She didn't make enough. She had good credit, but no real wealth. Correct. Credit does not equal wealth. Credit does not equal wealth. One more time. Get my Dr. Umar on. Credit does not equal wealth. Come on, y'all. I would take the $2 million and make sure to have the rebel on deck for consultations. All right. Well, listen. I help some people consult now. It's better to get me now than have me before you actually need me. But all right, my app says $2 million in cash. I can build a score. That is correct. You can build a score. Because I should have my sister Marquia here, the money plug. She is the credit expert that's usually on deck. But we've talked about credit enough that we know credit score is a function of paying on time. Credit is also a function of how much outstanding credit you have, a credit utilization, right? We know all the factors. So if you pay your bills on time, and you should be able to pay your bills on time with $2 million or $4K a week, your score should go up pretty quickly. All right, so Star Rock says, you're right. You got to have the score, the income, the relationship with the bank, history. They look at your 12 months or more average deposit. A lot of times they do. All right, Jigga 1017 says, Kamar, the more realistic question should be, in an emergency, would you rather have 5K in credit and no savings, or 5K in savings and no credit? I don't think y'all got that. Did y'all catch that? Emergency being loss of job, credit repair, HVAC repair. I need to get my HVAC repaired. It ain't gonna be cheap. But shout out to Jigga1017 because he hit it on the nail, right? Kamar, the more realistic question should be, in an emergency, would you rather have 5K in credit and no savings, or 5K in savings and no credit? Emergency being loss of job, car repair, HVAC repair. All right, Lawrence came through with the totals. So $4,000 a week times 52 is $208,000. All right, Don J says, I'm going with 4K a week. 2 million using the 4% rule equals 80K. That, you know what? Thank you for that, Don. So Don actually just did another net present value of money rule, but that's more of a retirement rule, right? They're saying in retirement, you should be able to live off of roughly 4% of your money. And if you had 2 million in retirement and you just pulled off 4%, and the 4% is based off of never depleting your capital, never ever running out of money. So your investments, your money, that 2 million should be able to make an additional 4% every year, and the capital never depletes. Your money never runs out. It's like a fountain of money. You're just raining money, except when you're not going to the strip club. So Don just made a very, very good point. Damn it, I'm mad I didn't think of that. But he's right? Because 4K a week, again, I just said it, $208,000. Lawrence just said it, $8,000. If you only pull 4K off of the 2 million, if you only pull 4% off of the 2 million, that's only 80K a year. That's a big lifestyle difference. And I know everybody's going to say they Big Daddy Warbucks and they are new real estate and stock market mogul, and they can make that money flip, triple, and double. But when they get the bag, they're not going to fumble it. So I think Don made a great point, and Lawrence is co-signed. All right, so Lawrence says it depends on how you use the $2 million or the $4K per year. It depends on the risk profile. Yep. I mean, that's what I started talking about in the beginning, right? Your risk appetite and your necessity for money. Now, like most people, because Lawrence is brought up another point. Most people, when they get a raise, they can be making $30,000 a year. Then they're making $50,000 a year. They don't just live off $35,000 a year or $40,000 a year. They live off of the full 50. It's called lifestyle creep. So the more money you make, you tend to buy more things. Basically, you buy more dumb shit. But that's just life. That's human beings, at least in the United States. All right, so Eunice says you may get more taking the $4,000 per week, but like I said, if you die, what good is it? If I could pass the $4,000 a week to my kids, I will take the $4,000. So Eunice, what you do is with the $4,000, you can afford to pay for a hefty life insurance policy. Even if you just take, let's say, $1,000 a month, that's going to pay something stupendous. So yes, you could do that if you do just a little bit of financial planning. And I'm not saying I would take the $2 million, but for most people, they should take the $4,000 a week, and the $4,000 a week will be way more than the $2 million. But the guru's got the secret sauce. Run the play. Run the play. We got too many people running the play. Too many. All right, Still Rocks 33 says Investopedia definitely helps me. My papers. All right, Lawrence, he's being facetious now. He says, I'll say let them take the 850 and run the play. Don Johnson, Buffett, Lynch, Don Johnson, him 500. All right. Lord. All right, Eunice says it'd be the countdown to when a black man or woman go broke. Oh, yes, it'll be the countdown to when a black man or woman goes broke. Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, everybody says I like to rain on their parade. I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, but some of y'all be having crackhead delusional dreams. I just want to help bring y'all to the light a little bit, just a little bit. So Lawrence is saying folks will be broke in 4 years max. I don't know. Did any of y'all watch Snowfall? Any of y'all watch Snowfall? I've been wanting to talk about some of the shows I watch, but if anybody watched Snowfall about drug trafficking in the 80s and how much of it got started, Franklin State was the kingpin. He had his family involved, the whole nine. And he had a bodyguard who stole $5 million from Franklin. Franklin had so much money, it was all over the place. He stole $5 million. The guy's name was Peaches. The bodyguard's name was Peaches. All names. Franklin finally found a guy. He had about $12,000 left. It's like, how do you $5 million and have nothing to show for it? Now, y'all know y'all got some aunties and uncles that are like that. Y'all know when y'all see these posts, many of these folks is full of caca. They ain't telling the truth. Or again, they're delusional crackheads. I mean, it's just real, right? But Peaches had $12,000. Matter of fact, I think that's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it the Peaches effect. Most people have the Peaches effect. Now, if anybody knows who Peaches is, put a 1 in the chat. Peaches is played by D-Ray Davis. D-Ray, I think, is hilarious. A little crass at times, but he's hilarious. He's a stand-up comedian. But you know, yeah, we're gonna call it the peaches effect. Now I want to show y'all the picture of peaches. So anytime I throw up this picture or a picture of him, y'all know what I'm talking about. Listen, we family. We gotta have codes, right? So your lights can do with green eyes too. I got jokes all day for that. Right? So it's the peaches effect. $5 million left with $12,000. Now, not to make fun of peaches, because I think peaches was strung out, right? And drug addiction is real. And drug addiction is a health problem. Many times when I was growing up during the crack epidemic, all those people were dehumanized. They were not looked at as humans. Now we have this opioid and fentanyl epidemic. They're just people. They're human beings. And they are. They are. But we see what happens when these epidemics, these outbreaks hit people that don't have melanated skin. They get treated much better. Treated much better. Yes, he was the oldest man that ever lived. Talking about Methuselah when I said that. All right. Jiggerton 17 was saying 13. All right. I'm guessing you're talking about the break even year or the year to exceed the net present value. All right. So question. All right. I'm going to come back to that. Let me start that. I will come back to that. You got, dang, I'm trying to think of the code. You got computer code as your name. So I'm going to just call you Quad 0, 40773-931-300. All right, Eunice asked the question. So I'm going to come back to that question. Tomorrow's not promised. Do not, of course. I would take $2 million. My husband and I would have a business mindset. We have a business mindset. We would know what to do with that money to invest for our future. I believe you, Eunice, because you are a bona fide hustler. So I know you personally. So I believe you would have an increase and you wouldn't waste all that money. You would at least put that money into some assets that pay out of cash flow. All right. 2 million cash easily. All right, that's what you're taking, 2 million. All right. By the way, Quad 0. Welcome. Verma Sean, welcome. Vern's taking the 2 million. I buy government series bonds and live off $50K a year. Well, if that's the case, why not just take the 208,000? If that's what you're going to do. Because again, this is all about the decision and how to make the decision, having the tools to make the decisions. It's easy, NPV, right? Net present value, if you weren't here earlier. I mean, because again, if that's the case, now you could also make the case that you can put it in government series bonds, T-bills, T-bonds, and you can still have that capital where you don't have the capital with the $208,000. The question is, will you have discipline not to pinch off that 2 million that's in the stash? No trips to Tulum, no trips to Santorini, no trips anywhere else folks are flocking to these days. I mean, I hear you. But again, the 4K alone will get that. I mean, technically, and Don Johnson just said it, you should be able to get 4% off that money, easy. And 4%, what is 4% off of, Don did it, right? $80,000. So 4% off of 2 million is $80,000. So you should be able to get that 80K easy. Easy, real easy. All right, Jigga 1017, being lazy and not wanting to work too hard, 4K a week with half in my pocket and half in VOO, that's a Vanguard ETF.
It's only entertainment.
All right, this show is for entertainment, educational purposes only. I'm not telling you to buy vote. All right, the rule of 72, flip, 60K a year, should set me straight on bills, vacating. Oh, I like that word. Insolubus. Okay, we have to look that word up, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what that word is. And if you don't know me, I am a lover of words. So excuse me as I go on a quick rant. Go down a rabbit hole real quick. I promise to come right back. I promise to come right back. All right, so we're going to put this up there. Shout out. Matter of fact, you get the orange for stopping me because I can't even pronounce that word. Insalubrious. Insalubrious. All right, what does it mean? Especially of a climate of locality not salubrious, unhealthy, a poor area full of insalubrious hotels.
Insalubrious.
Insalubrious. Did y'all hear?
Insalubrious.
Insalubrious. Oh, I'll be using that a lot. Talk about an SAT word. Gotta give you the horns for that kid. All right, so yes, absolutely. All right, not yet. What is better, The Wire or Snowfall? So, I love The Wire. I don't know if y'all saw my post on Facebook. So, The Wire. Damn, I'm afraid to even talk about this. Some of y'all might come after me. I'm going with Snowfall. The acting is better on Snowfall. Some might say the storytelling is better on The Wire. But the acting is better on Snowfall. I would watch Snowfall sometimes, and just growing up in the crack era and just knowing people involved and seeing things and hearing things and being places, it really put me in that mode. So much so, I couldn't watch it sometimes because it was really like seeing people strung out that like were clean and that were vibrant and had things going for themselves. I mean, Len Bias, I talked about Len Bias doing that. If nobody remembers Len Bias, Len Bias was the #1 draft pick, died from doing, I'm not sure if it was crack or cocaine, either one. But here's a guy who was going to be on top of the world and wasted it all by using drugs. Sadly. So yeah, I'm going with The Wire. I'm sure somebody else is saying Power. While I watch Power, no, the actors don't have the chops. By the way, I do have to say this: Ghost is a hell of an actor. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he is a hell of an actor. Yeah, Eunice. It's called the Peaches Effect. All right. Need 5 more likes to make it even? All right. Thank you for that. Thank you for keeping score. Appreciate that. I need all the help I can get, y'all. Trying to put this good word out here. All right, I have an aunt who won $1.2 million racial and lady discrimination suit with Boy Scouts. Whoa. And was broke 3 years later at 65 on Social Security and working for Enterprise as a car porter. Damn. I mean, I don't know the situation when he got it. I don't know how much debt she was in when she got it. But all those things matter. But God bless her. God bless her. And God bless her that she's still able to get up and move those cars around. All right. So, for instance, I stepped into the video a little late. That's all right. You're still welcome. So I did miss out on the 208 year conversation. Yep. I have a high degree of confidence that I will not burn through it. Excellent perspective on the video. Thank you, sir. Listen, I'm not here to, necessarily change minds. I just want to drop a gem and give another thought, another perspective to look on some of this stuff. Because what we are seeing on a daily basis, I'm scared, y'all. I'm scared. A lot of ill thought. And I know there's a lot of great folks out there. A lot of people who just watch and laugh. I get a little upset sometimes because I know people who actually take some of this advice. And no, I can't provide cover and protect everybody. I get that. And people do have to be accountable for their education, for their level of discernment, for their level of naivete, right? They have for that. But I hate a bloodsucker though too. I hate people that just take advantage because it's wrong, especially for black folks, right? It's bad enough that we have to worry about all the other racial components that came into play. But then we have to deal with somebody who was programmed by the Willie Lynch program to just do terrible and wretched things to other black folks. I think it's sad. All right, so Maddox says, if you like Snowfall better, I will start watching it. Forgive me if I go slow. No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, some people didn't like it because they didn't think it was realistic, but again, it's the acting. I thought the cast was just really real. I mean, some of the stuff was dramatized, clearly. Some of the stuff definitely wouldn't go down the way it did. However, the acting. And yes, thank you for that quad zero. Omari Hardwick. Omari is a phenomenal thespian. I can't even call him an actor. He's a thespian. Like, that man gets it in. All right, any other questions? I know I got one. Let me know if we got any other questions. All right. Jigga 1017 says, so Kamaran, dealing in the realistic, would you take the 5K in savings or cash in the event of an emergency? Oh, you must not know me. I talk about credit, right? I tell people all the time, cash is king. I'm a finance major with an accounting background. Cash is king. Credit's good. Cash is king. Credit's a queen. Marry them together, and you can create a wonderful empire. However, in order to really rule over your woman, you got to have discipline. And I'm not trying to be misogynist. I'm just making a little bit of fun. But if you want to have to control the queen, you got to have discipline over yourself. Because if you don't have discipline over yourself, your credit will run your life. We've seen it. We see what the rules are. I think total credit. I know the Fed just reported this. Total outstanding credit card debt. I think it just went up. Not too long ago. So all this credit card debt, and everybody's telling you to run these plays. People aren't just getting this credit and just paying it right off after the play's done, right? They're not, because if that was the case, credit card debt would be super low. Credit card debt is a trap. All right, here is an article. Hopefully I don't get hit with the block. Let me share this real quick. So no, I want the cash. Give me the 5K cash all day long. Americans owe $1 trillion in credit card debt. $1 trillion. Anybody see the date on this article on the Hill? The date on this article on the Hill is May 30th, 2023. So yesterday. And I know it just went up over the last quarter, right? So it says here, Americans' credit card balance has passed $1 trillion, or it's about to, depending on depending on whom you ask. The average interest rate on a credit card is 24%. A typical American household now carries $10,000 in credit card debt. Damn. By one estimate, another record. If that doesn't sound like a lot of debt, try paying it off. At $250 a month with 24% interest, you'll be making payments until 2030, and you'll spend a total of $20,318. twice what you owed, and that assumes you never use the card again. So again, right, all this business credit shenanigans, all this, running multiple credit cards. We see the average person has $10,000 in credit card debt. Now, if we just extrapolate for the black tax and the black effect, the average black person probably has 13,000, 14,000, 20,000, because what happens to America? What's the saying? When America gets a cold, black folks get the flu. Meaning that it's 5 times worse, typically. All right, so this last point, let me go back to full screen here, right? The last point. The nation's credit card debt stands at $186 billion. Rounded up, it's $1 trillion. According to the Federal Reserve, the figure has climbed by $250 billion in 2 years. Some other estimates range higher. A welfare report put total credit card debt at $1.2 trillion at the end of 2022. So it's anywhere from $900 billion to $1 trillion. That's crazy. So no, I'm not the super, and again, everything is nuance. Everything is detail. A lot of times we want these broad stroking black and white answers. You got to dig deeper. A lot of people say life is about the gray. I say it's about the color, because things will have many different shades and gradients. Credit, it can be good, but in the wrong hands, it's toxic. It's toxic. Again, if we were to go back and we were to look at those videos again, how would you rate them now? What do you think? Is it better? Is it
I have an 850 credit score, 4K a week for the rest of your life, or $2 million cash right now?
I'm gonna say the 850 credit score, only because I know I can go out and get $1 million in funding and flip that to 10 million. You dig? Yo, do you dig or not? Let's get it.
You dig? I mean, listen, black people are great. We know how to make everything fly. But there's a point where the flyness gets goofy. So we're going to get the million and we're going to get the 10. And we just saw the report from the Federal Reserve. $1 trillion. You dig? It ain't digging. And the math ain't math. Sorry.
I have an 850 credit score, $2 million cash right now, or 4K a week for the rest of your life.
850 credit score, that's easy.
Why?
Because you can easily get the money off the credit. You can literally go and apply for any and every credit card known to man, and they would give you over $2 million within a day.
So any credit card known to man, you can get over $2 million.
Easy, and you do all the inquiries at one time, and that way it only counts as one inquiry for each different credit bureau.
Word, that's valid. Let's go, man.
I don't know. What do y'all think? Put it in the chat. Tell me what y'all think.
I'd rather have an 850 credit score, make 4K a week for the rest of your life, or $2 million cash right now.
Give me the $2 million right now.
What you gonna do with it?
Well, it's real cheap to get your credit fixed.
Okay.
And then I can invest my money in more places with $2 million to make more than $4,000 a week.
Okay.
Simple.
Simple, man.
You got to know the plays to run them. You know what I'm saying? So go run that play.
Let's get it.
So, I mean, he, in my opinion, was probably the only person that came with any kind of logic. Now, listen, yeah, again, you can get the credit cards. Most of the time when you're doing that, I don't want to throw everybody under the bus, but most of the times when you're doing that, people are talking about doing fraudulent things. Me, I want to be squeaky clean. Because it's a mindset. You do one thing, you steal one little candy bar, you'll steal $1 million. You lie on an application, you'll lie on $1 million of them, right? I don't even want to go down that path. Black people can't afford to go down that path. Why? Because we know the feds are always watching. So again, I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I don't get it. Now, do y'all ever think about this? Why are people so infatuated, so in love with credit? Has anybody ever thought that? Anybody asked that question? I need to tweet that out. I guess it has nothing to do with the credit card industry. That is making, what did they say, on average, 24%. 24%. Let's break that down. For every $100 that you use, you got to pay back $124. So for every $100 that you spend on a credit card, on average, you have to pay back the credit cards. Pay them back $124. Talk about loan shark rates. I mean, that's pretty steep. That is pretty steep. So, and what do they do with that extra $24 that they get? And mind you, it doesn't stop at 100. You already know they said the average balance is $10,000. What do they use with that extra $24? Right? Consumer research on how to figure out how to get people to spend more. Consumer research on how to brand better and make credit a drug. Is credit a drug? Do y'all think credit's a drug? Are credit cards a drug? Why would so many people use credit cards to the way that they are doing it if they're not addicted? I mean, we just had the whole opioid problem. They found an issue with that after a long while. Credit cards are no different. Are they different? What do you say? I would say that's a steep penalty when you are using those credit cards. You can't help but use them. We know people say shopping is like retail therapy. But what's that? Sounds like addiction. Sounds like addiction. But hey, it is what it is. Let's see here. Couple more, and I know I got a question. Coming back to that question. Oh man, y'all just do some stuff in there. Y'all getting busy. Lauren says they get a cold, we get COVID. That's a fact. Sorry that's hurting your feelings. I'm just showing what's out here. By the way, I'm really curious. How many I'm curious to know how many views those videos got. So that was just an idea that just popped in my mind. So she's over on IG. Give her credit. I like what she's doing though. Right? I like her swagger. I like that she's interviewing people. I like that she's going after journalistic-esque pursuit of things. I think that's dope. I'm not a fan of the content, but hopefully, when she's done with this, she can do something else more meaningful. So let's see. I can't. Here we go. Let's see. Let me share this with y'all. And again, this is no hate on her. She's just making content. She's got mad energy, right? She's likable. She's got personality. She's got pizzazz. So let's get to that one. All right, so my man here, I thought this was higher. 5,893 views. I could have swore it was more. Let's see. All right, this one has 25.7 million views. Okay. And this one has 49,200 views. And that was the best one in my opinion. So maybe there is some hope. Y'all. Maybe I'm just becoming an old man, old crotchety man. But yes, I do think we need to talk to our people. I agree with that. Everyone pushing that 850 is undercooked. Go back to school to bake. Oh man, Lawrence is cooking tonight. Eunice says, like we do not live in America. Some things you have a credit. Sometimes you can have a credit and they still don't want to loan to you. That's a fact. That is a fact. Even with REITs and 2 million, I'm not sure I could beat 4K a week. So 4K a week, depends on the REITs, and also with the REITs. Like if you look at some of the REITs, especially some of the commercial building, office buildings, they're facing like a 50% occupancy rate. So we haven't even seen the full fallout of REITs and commercial real estate yet, in my opinion. It's going to get worse. It's going to get, by the way.
It's only entertainment.
All right. I'm not wrecking anybody or anything. We have been hurt by credit. So most of us want good credit. Have you been hurt by credit, or have you been hurt by bad habits and not understanding how credit works? Right. And I'm not an NRA person, but are guns the problem? Are the dumb people the guns the problem? Well, for the guns part, I think it's twofold. We have way too many guns on the street. Hey, we have way too many credit cards on the street. Why are they at all the college campuses? Right. But we have way too many guns on the street, in my opinion. Regulations on guns is less than drivers. You know, a person getting a driver's license, a person getting a gun goes through less scrutiny than those getting a driver's license. I mean, just something to think about. All right, because that's how the rich stay rich. What's how the rich stay rich? By the way, shout out to you for joining. Nemesis breaks. How do the rich stay rich? Because the rich do not stay rich with credit. They leverage credit. A lot of black people have a mindset of if they have 850 credit score, they can get fraternities and loans or opportunities and loans just as easy as anyone else. Not necessarily true. Fast money. I would disagree with that. I mean, listen, Warren Buffett is an outlier, but Warren Buffett didn't hit the B status until his 60s. Or was it late 50s? I got to go back and look, right? So it wasn't just all fast money, right? And by the way, we shouldn't just do things because the rich did it. Now, opportunity does favor speed. Don't get me wrong. And please don't think I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth. But it favors those with accurate speed, not just doing dumb things for speed, right? Speed is selling drugs, right? That's fast money. Speed is trying to rob a bank. That's fast money. Speed is knocking an old lady over her head to take her pocketbook, right? Speed is robbing. I just watched something the other day, robbing people on Facebook Marketplace, meeting them at banks and robbing them. That's speed. Speed also kills. So speed isn't always what the rich do. People don't realize inertia. So once you start doing a thing and you do it, inertia, right? You keep doing it and doing it. You get better and better and better and better. When you had to do something really, really slow, now you learned it, and you can do it really fast. So speed isn't for everybody. It's like giving, matter of fact, my daughter just got a driver's license the other day. Literally. Do you think I will put her in a Ferrari? She ain't ready, right? You have to develop the skills, the muscle, the craft. A lot of times we're not putting that energy into that. All I see in that video are Squares trying to run a play after getting grifted for 1K for a seminar and upsell for the bro polite back end. In the words of KRS-One, part-time sucker. Nah, that was a learning experience. I wouldn't call you a sucker. You learned. Damn, I didn't know people was, I mean, I've heard about polite, but I've never run into anybody talking about that. Jeez, by the way.
It's only entertainment.
All right, 2 million at AG&C again.
It's only entertainment.
26K a month, so maybe. I gotta look at AG&C. Hey, pulling on my eggs one basket. It can be dangerous. We have been so conditioned to one credit and borrow just how they got us believing in the American dream. Yeah, I never believed in the American dream, no. But that's another conversation for another day. Credit is the next door neighbor syndrome. Okay, so that's also called keeping up with the Joneses. They got a nice ass truck. I gotta one up them, or my TV is smaller than theirs. I'll take 4K a week though and invest it. Smart man, all right. So you just talking about the overall state of things, not what you believe. Yeah, keeping up with the Joneses, the next door neighbor syndrome, all of those things are very dangerous, right? Because what do they say? Comparison is the devil. So, we don't need to compare ourselves to anybody. We need to run our own race, do our own thing. Now, let me get to this question because I ain't eating. I need some vittles. All right. What are some of the adverse effects that wage earners should expect and prepare for? Okay, I believe you're talking about with the debt ceiling. Well, so I don't believe the debt ceiling or the United States is going to default. But I'm going to say this, and I say it all the time. We need to save more, all of us, right? We need to have, I believe, a year's worth of income, not 3 months, not 6 months worth of expenses saved up. I say a year. And I've been saying this for a long time, even before COVID happened. But I say this because my rationale was it usually takes your average unemployed person 9 months to find a new job. Round it up, let's call it a year. Then COVID hit. Everything was shut down. Some people made out because the government kicked in, stepped in, and gave stimulus. What happens if the government doesn't step in, though? So are we just okay with being on the tit of the government? Excuse my language. Being beholden to the government in that regard? I mean, I say we have the money, and again, that's the goal. That's the goal. That's the goal. That's not what we have to start with today. Start with $1,000. Put every raise you get in there to build this up. Get a tax refund, put it in there. If you got a side hustle, start saving routinely. And then that means once you have enough money, that's FU money. So when your boss says, hey, Kevin, pick up that cotton. Hey, Kevin, unpack those boxes. Hey, Kevin, I don't care if it's your birthday. Come to work anyway. Hey, Kevin, I don't care if you're sick. Come to work anyway. Hey, Kevin, if your mama's on her deathbed, I don't care. Come to work anyway. But now, Kevin now has that freedom to do whatever he wants, right? And what we don't think about a lot of times when it comes to money, wealth, well-being, because again, wealth isn't just about money. It's all about well-being. We don't think about the ROI of mental health, the ROI of peace. All those things matter. All those things matter. So I would say save, because the more savings you have, the more opportunities you can take advantage of. The more savings you have, the longer you can survive those rainy days. When the HVAC, somebody put that in earlier, goes out, when your car goes out, when the roof leaks, when somebody gets sick, if somebody gets COVID. By the way, those nasty little bugs, they're not going. They're not going. We're going to have other things later on. Are you ready for them? Yeah, COVID's up now, and everybody's like, we got poked, we got the jab. What was the point? Well, it actually helped save a lot of people's lives, but I don't think anybody cares about that. People just care about the likes and clicks. By the way, I thought everybody's supposed to turn into a robot or with the turn into a robot or a drone if they got the poke? What happened to that? I thought everybody was going to become slaves to the Illuminati. What happened to that? Like, sorry, I'm going on a rant. My bad. Let's get back to it again. What would you rather have? An 850 credit score, $4,000 a week for life, $2 million in cash right now. What would you rather have? All right. So again, there's a lot of things that are going on. There's a lot of things that we need to be thinking about. And some of those things are not being manipulated by those who want to manipulate us for whatever they want, whether it's our money, whether it's to listen to their music, whether it's to like their podcasts, right? Everybody's got an agenda, and they will say and do anything to serve that agenda. So let's see here. Got a couple more questions. The creditors and bank owners stay rich. Yes and no. But yeah, the creditors are like, I just said it, right? Credit card companies, they stay rich. Oh, we get magnetized with the vote. Okay. All right. Well, nobody came and magnetized a lot of these folks out here. So I don't know what's going on. But none of that stuff came to fruition 2-3 years later. So I don't know, folks. I don't know. But listen, y'all, I appreciate everybody being here. Do me a favor, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And remember to dream some more. Work hard to fulfill your dreams, but make sure you save as well. And then invest into you and those dreams and your future. Until the next time, I'm Kamari Yellis. The Finance Rebel Show will be back next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Until the next time, y'all have a great day. Be great.